and they held what could be the greatest quarterback of all time to 24 yards in the first half. And yet here we are, we're talking about the Chiefs the next year, and man, we're getting past the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles could go down in history as the best team ever to beat the greatest quarterback ever in the NFL, and not only do it easily, like they did it easily. The game was over midway through the third quarter. There's the whole second half. You could have been Saquon Barkley. Basically, you didn't really need Saquon the whole game because they took him out of it. I get that potential MVP there, but man, we're just overlooking the fact that this Philadelphia Eagles team is probably the greatest team probably ever assembled. When it comes to running back, the quarterback did enough. Listen, I'm an Eagles fan, obviously, but I have been very, hard on Hurts in decision making when it came to certain games or whatever, But all playoffs, he played flawless with probably 2 drives, I would say, where he took the safety against the Rams. He didn't throw the check down, and then when he threw, it was a Commanders game. I don't know the exact play, but there was 2 drives. All the playoffs where he had. Aside from him, great wide receivers, good tight end, amazing defense. Guys stepped up big, and we're just continuing to look past the present. And I don't. Listen. I understand you're creating topics, generating them, stuff like that. But at the same time, man, dude, we gotta accept the fact that this Philadelphia Eagles team was a real legit team. Not only just this year, obviously, but overall in general. And if you think about their record too. They were 2 drops away from really going, 15-1?
Yeah, they were, Joel, and we got to get to the update, dude. So that was, a lot of good stuff, and you threw a lot at me, and I know that we get hyperbolic a lot, and, we over-exaggerate when we talk about teams. The greatest team ever assembled, I'm not sure about that. The 1972 Dolphins did go undefeated, and I do agree, if Hurts didn't get hurt against the Commanders, they probably win that game, and earlier in the year, you had guys missing as well, and they're lost to Tampa Bay. But that's a lot of ifs, ands, whats, or buts, and shoulds. The 2007 Patriots, undefeated until the Giants got them. I know it's hard to say a team that didn't win the Super Bowl is the greatest team of all time. How about this? 85 Bears. These are teams that get glorified in movies for all of time and in history. Eagles were fantastic, and everything you said was spot on. To be able to dominate and destroy a team with Mahomes and Andy Reid going for a historic three-peat, first ever in the NFL, yeah, you got to be pretty damn good. And they were, and they're awesome. But yes, I do also have to push it forward because there's a lot of Chiefs fans, there's a lot of football fans that are listening that watch that game and they're saying, well, is this the end of that dynasty? How did the Chiefs get back there? So, yes, I know you know how it works, throwing out some topics. What moves can the Chiefs make going forward, along with everything that we are focusing on the present? 855-212-4227. Juicy topic coming up next with just your calls. Right back, we've got one open phone line, but we got a lot of folks on hold. I want to talk Mahomes versus Brady that have been waiting for a while. We'll get to you guys as soon as we come back, plus your Super Bowl reactions, what other teams can do to get to the Super Bowl, beat the Eagles. We've got some callers that want to weigh in on that, and the continued fallout from the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade, and my belief that the Lakers are going to the NBA Finals. It's Pat Boyle on the Infinity Sports Network. We're coming right back after this update from Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network, Sports Flash.
Well, Pat, the anticipated debut of Luka Doncic after the shocking trades of the Lakers, and everything went to plan for L.A.
Luka Doncic behind the three-point line now, drives to the basket, got their foul, kind of it goes. And he just toyed with him, Michael. Waited for the contact, put it up and in, and he's got a chance at an old-school three-point play.
14 points in 24 minutes for Doncic. LeBron James led the way with 24. Lakers pound the Jazz 132-113. Call courtesy of the Lakers Radio Network. Elsewhere, the Cavs dominate the T-Wolves 128-107. Evan Mobley, 28 points, 10 rebounds. Hawks top the Magic 112-106. Thunder roll the Pelicans 137-101. Warriors rip the Bucks 125-111. Steph Curry with 38. Spurs outscore the Wizards 131-121 as Victor Wembanyama had 31 points and 15 rebounds. Celtics erase the Heat 103-85 behind 33 from Jason Tatum. Nuggets drub the Blazers 146-117. Nikola Jokic with 40 points in just 3 quarters. Kings outlast the Mavericks in overtime, 129-128. DeMar DeRozan, 42, including your go-ahead bucket in OT. And the Nets bounce the Hornets, 97-89. Kevin Durant not holding any grudges against the Suns, despite them shopping him at the deadline.
Nobody's above the system. As much as, how much status I got and how much I've acquired in this league, you're still not above the business, and I always understood that.
Meanwhile, three-person arbitration panel is sided with prospective T-Wolves owners Mark Lohr and Alex Rodriguez in their dispute with current owner Glenn Taylor. Super Bowl's in the rearview mirror, so now it's time to begin to look at next season. Plenty of talk about the 49ers possibly moving on from Deebo Samuel. 29-year-old, maybe laying the groundwork on where he'd like to go. When he was asked who he thought might be taking that next step, this courtesy of Bleacher Report.
I can say Denver. Bo Nix is playing really, really good ball right now. Your defense is outrageous. You got P2 out there who's, I would say, the best at the position right now. Probably been for the past 2 years. You got the other guy on the other side. I just think you need a couple more pieces, and then it'll be what it need to be, and you just have to get past Pat Mahomes every year.
In college hoops, number 6 Houston, too much for Baylor, 76-65, and Clemson Rock, North Carolina, 85-65. I'm Marco Belletti.
This is Zach Gelb. Get all your sports talk here on the Infinity Sports Network. Always available on the free Odyssey app.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Listening to the Infinity Sports Network.
Right back at it on this early Tuesday morning. Pat Boyle with you here. We've been talking a lot. We've got a couple callers been on hold for a while because we have been talking a lot about Brady versus Mahomes, the GOAT debate. I never thought it really was a debate, even if Mahomes won that game on Sunday night. At the end of his career, yes, we're having this debate, but right now, when he's not even halfway to the amount of Super Bowls Brady had won, I thought it was ridiculous. So John in Napa, he's been waiting for a while. John, appreciate you holding, man. What do you want to say about Brady and Mahomes in the GOAT debate?
Okay, well, with the GOAT debate, I mean, okay, if Mahomes would have got the three feet right there, it would have hurt because, he just walked up and did it, man. He's a scrambling quarterback. He's an impact player, and he makes a difference on that team. I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes and his ability to do what he's doing, but he's not Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady could master that 1-2-3 dump. You didn't even need an offensive line. You know what I mean? He could perform halfway decent. You know what I mean? But he came in after what was it, week 3 or 4? Just after getting drafted, he stepped right up, and the rest is history. He took them right to the Super Bowl. And the year before, they gave up. I believe it was the very year before they gave up more sacks. The line gave up more sacks than any other team in NFL history, and they pretty much had the same offensive line. I don't know that part for a fact, but I know that it was a lot of the original offensive line from the year before. And,
yeah, John, I appreciate the call, man. I think what's another important thing, too, is what you actually do in the big game. And look, I mean, I know for a fact that in the last 4 or 5 years here, Mahomes' offensive line did him no favors on Sunday, and they also did him no favors against the Buccaneers. But, that's also... Like you said, Brady, it was, boom, 1, 2, 3 balls out of his hand. Get rid of the ball quick. And now maybe that wouldn't have changed even if Mahomes was getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds because his receivers were going up against the best secondary in football. The Eagles were the #1 scoring defense. That secondary was unreal. But what you do in the big game matters. And in 5 games in the Super Bowl, Mahomes has a passer rating of 86.9, 10 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He's thrown 7 picks in the 5 Super Bowls he's in. Tom Brady, in the 10 Super Bowls he was in, a passer rating of 97.7, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So to me, again, it wasn't really a debate. Even if Mahomes had won, it's still not a debate, not for a couple of years. Al is in Texas, also has been wanting to get in on this convo. Al, what's going on? What's shaking?
How's it going, Pat? How are you, man?
I'm doing good, brother. I appreciate you holding on there. What did you want to get in on?
Yeah, man. I got a few questions for you, and I heard you talk about you being a realist. So let's go down that route, okay? Let me ask you a question. First of all, the Eagles team could have beaten every one of Brady's team. That team last night.
I don't know about every one of them. I don't know if they would have beaten the 2007 Patriots.
Here, let me break it down for you, okay? You got 4 receivers out there. the Eagles played with 7 defensive backs.
Yes, because they were getting home with a 4-man rush.
Yeah. So, in other words, let me say this to you. Patrick Mahomes went on like 11-game winning streak, getting the ball out quick and fast. They really didn't have a downfield passing attack. So it was similar to the Brady's attack, the quick outs.
Okay. And Al, we got a hard out coming here in about 30 seconds. So if you have one more point, make it.
What Brady would have done in that game last night?
I'm not sure if he would have, if Tom Brady would have won that game alone, Al. But, I mean, Tom Brady went to 10. He won 7 of them. Mahomes has been in 5. He won 3 of them. And Brady had the exact same start. He went 3-2. And again, this comes back to my point that Mahomes can surpass Brady at some point for the GOAT, for the greatest of all time. But not yet. And, again, what Mahomes could have done was gotten rid of the football faster. And the offense with Matt Nagy should have been aware that, hey, our offensive line stinks and our offensive line is not that good, not where it needs to be. Let's come up with a different game plan. Let's have a lot of quick outs. Let's get creative with some screens. I mean, I'm not an offense coordinator, but I would have had a different game plan than what the Chiefs had. 855-212-4227. Final hour coming up next. Everything we've hit on so far. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Pat Boyle with you here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Infinity Sports Network.
Hey-o, final hour of our program here on this Tuesday morning. It's Pat Boyle with you here on the Infinity Sports Network. I'm with you for one more hour till 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. You can tweet me or find me on Instagram, both at PatBoyle44. We got a good couple of tweets that have come through throughout the show that we will read out loud before we sign off. Got a bunch of folks on hold right now. It's been a good show. You guys have been great with the calls. We do have one open phone line right now. I would love to hear from you guys as we have done all show. And you've got plenty of ways to listen. Even if you just, you don't want to have your voice heard, you don't want to get in on the debate, that's fine. Plenty of ways to listen. Over 200 of our local affiliates anywhere throughout North America. If you've got Sirius XM, we're on channel 375. But no matter where you are, whatever corner of the globe, if the drive is done, if you're going to work, if you're at work, you want to pop in your earbuds. If you're at home and you're just hanging out, you can't sleep, Odyssey app. That's how you listen anytime, anywhere. Easy to use, easy to download. We've done a lot so far. Continuing to hit all the angles of Super Bowl 59 with the Eagles routing the Chiefs 40-22. Yours truly, Pat Boyle. My main takeaways from that game has been, one, Jalen Hurts, top 5 quarterback, unquestioned in the NFL. I could even put him in the top 3. But main thing is I think he is as valuable, if not more valuable, than all the 3 quarterbacks that we have kind of put right on Patrick Mahomes' heels for a few years now. Jalen Hurts is as valuable as Josh Allen. He's as valuable and he's as good as Lamar Jackson, and he's as good as Joe Burrow. And Sunday night showed you. The Chiefs had one mission: stop Saquon Barkley, force Jalen Hurts to beat us. We'll win. We'll win as long as we shut down Saquon Barkley. They shut him down. 25 carries, 57 yards. He was mostly a non-factor, other than his threat and his presence. All right, dare Jalen Hurts to beat you? He beat you, and he beat you up. Destroyed you. He was brilliant. He's been brilliant in both Super Bowls he's been in. He's been a starter for 4 years, and in the last 3 years, what did I have Jalen Hurts' record at? I think off the top of my head it was 37-10, 35-10, 37-10. And in the 2 Super Bowls he's been in, he has been nearly flawless. Put up 35 points 2 years ago, put up 40 points. Granted, one was 7 points coming from a pick 6, but I mean Jalen Hurts has delivered in the 2 biggest games of his life. Can Lamar Jackson say that? Can Josh Allen say that? Can Joe Burrow say that? None of those guys have won a Super Bowl. Only Burrow is the only one that's been to one, and he lost to the Rams. As good as he was pretty good in that game. Lamar Jackson was a 2-time reigning MVP. Josh Allen won the MVP this year. Jalen Hurts hasn't won an MVP, but he said it himself. I want to be measured by rings. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. And maybe it would be different if he was in the AFC. And he was trying to have to constantly beat Mahomes like Josh and Lamar and Joe have to, but Jalen Hurts is phenomenal. He's a top 5 quarterback, and he got a lot of slander. He got a lot of hate this year as a guy that was just along for the ride as Saquon carried the entire team or the Eagles' defense carried the team, and Jalen Hurts was just a spectator. Not on Sunday, he wasn't. And then also, for me, even going into the game, I wanted to shut down the whole, Mahomes will be the GOAT if he wins this game. Nonsense. And then the fact that he played one of the worst games of his career, he was brutal. He was a total stiff. Offensive line did him no favors, but he was bad. He was horrible. So we got to shelf the GOAT debate for at least a couple of years. Brady won 7 Super Bowls. He went to 10. He was a 3-time MVP. He's got every record that you could imagine right now. Yards, touchdowns. Mahomes might get there in 10 years from now. He might. Pretty good chance that he will. Because we've seen the talent. We've seen what he can do on the field. But he's 29 going on 30. And he's a 3-time Super Bowl champ. He's a 2-time MVP. He's not there yet. 855-212-4227. Plus, Luka Doncic made his debut last night. He only played 24 minutes because it was a blowout. He scored 14 points. His first game since Christmas. And I was saying this last week across the different networks that I'm on the air for. And I'm continuing to say it. The Lakers are on equal footing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're as good as anybody in the West. I think they're going to the NBA Finals this year. And this really is going to be one of those trades. Just like we've all crushed and we all pointed and laughed at the New York Giants for letting Saquon Barkley walk to their rival, I think we're going to all point and laugh at Nico Harrison and the Dumonts and the Adelsons, the new Mavericks owners, for trading away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick. And Max Christie. He was like a nice, solid young player, but nothing more than that. And I think Luka's now going to go on a generational run with LeBron, and they're going to go to the finals, and now they're set up for the next 15 years. 855-212-4227. Plus, what the Chiefs need to do this offseason to get better. So a lot of topics out there for you to weigh in on. Butch, he's in South Yonkers, New York. He wants to get in on this Luka AD trade. Butch, what's cracking, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? And when they made that trade, the Lakers, that's for the future because they see what the Celtics are doing up top. They want to get back up top with the Celtics because the Celtics already got their 18th. So the Lakers, they can't sit there and, watch them keep winning. So they had to get a play that they can build around for the future,
Yeah, and Butch,
if he plays 3 more years.
I just can't believe that it was the Mavericks who called. It was Nico Harrison who called up Rob Pelinka and literally offered him Luka Doncic. That it's one thing if the Lakers were hunting on trying to do that and get better, but I don't think that. I don't think Rob Pelinka in his right mind was thinking, yeah, you know what? Let me pick up the phone and try to get Luka. Like it was literally gifted to him in his lap.
Yeah, it was too easy. I was like, I don't know, like he just gave him away, but. AD, if he stays healthy, I don't know how far they go with them, but Luka's the future with them, and they're building. They're gonna put some players around him, and they're gonna try to get back up top with the Celtics.
Oh, absolutely, Butch, and I appreciate the call, my man. Appreciate the call. A lot of love for Butch in South Yonkers, New York. Yeah, when you look at it from 1,000 feet away or 10,000 feet away, yeah. Look at what Boston has built. The last couple of years, going to the finals. What is it now? 2 times in the last 3 years? They lost to Golden State a few years ago. They obviously win it last year. They've got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown locked up for presumably life. And right now, their other 3 starters are Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis. They're in a pretty damn good spot to get back there. And I'm a Knicks fan. I'm hoping my Knicks will prevent that from happening. But the Lakers see the Celtics as the team that's now taken them over, has surpassed them, winning that 18th title in the summer and saying, hey, we got to get back there. We're the L.A. Lakers. And, again, even though I just said, the reporting, it's true that the Lakers literally had Luka, offered to them either way, that is a move that you make when you are the L.A. Lakers. For a lot of people that say, you're the Dallas Cowboys, and yet the Cowboys don't really operate like it, and they sure as hell don't win like it. This is a move that people that say we're the LA Lakers, that fans that say we're the LA Lakers, this is a move you make. And now you're going to go from LeBron James, who might have this year and maybe next year, but he might have this year and 2 more years. Whenever his career is said and done, you're going to go from LeBron James to Luka Doncic. Not bad at all. Dre is up in Fort Worth. Dre, what's going on, my man?
Hey, nothing much, man. Just piggybacking off of what the other guy was saying, and I'm gonna be blunt, man. The Maverick trade, it's like this. Basketball wise, if you look at it from what the Mavericks are trying to do, it can make sense. But the way they did it is what made it very bad. Because number one, I'm gonna just be honest. You do not give up a generational talent like Luka like they did. That's the dumb part of it. But of course, if Davis is healthy, like you seen the other day, look at what he can give you. Look at what he did. He put up 28, 16, 3 blocks, and a few assists. If he's healthy, it's a good trade for Dallas because he makes them a stronger defensive team. And as we saw Sunday, defense wins championships. I don't care what sport it is, defense will win you a championship. And just to sort of switch to the game Sunday, one thing I'm going to say that happened, they needed another offensive scheme because the Eagles, that was just a basic defense. They rushed 4 and played zone behind it.
Yep.
I know full well Kansas City is smart enough to make a change. And just to jump to another thing, too, because I'm just trying to cover it all. Also, when it comes down to the GOAT debate, I really wish they'll quit having a GOAT debate because, number one, Brady is good, but to me, that's not my GOAT. My GOAT is Montana. That's me. But Brady, they keep making it like he was the reason, but he had great defenses. He had great teams. He didn't just win championships just because it was him. He had a great scheme. He had great teams. And, of course, he did what he had to do. I still think that Mahomes can get that GOAT debate, but I really wish they'll stop, because they definitely in the NBA. Stop debating. LeBron shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as Jordan. He can't be mentioned in the same breath as Kobe. LeBron is not the GOAT, never will be the GOAT. I believe he just been handed everything. He ain't that good, like they handed him Luka trying to give him another ring. He still won't catch Jordan. He ain't good enough. He's a fraud as far as I'm concerned. And people who know basketball know a fraud when they see a fraud. And that's exactly what LeBron is.
Wow. Dre, with a scintillating takedown of LeBron James. You threw a lot at me there, Dre. Let me. I guess I'll try to work backwards here. And that's actually a good point. And I was going to introduce that as potentially a segment. And we can kind of, talk about this as the week goes on and obviously as the season goes on in one way or another. But I wonder if Luka Doncic could shift the GOAT debate in basketball. Right? I agree with you that the GOAT debate in football is a little tired right now. Mahomes not there yet. You said your GOAT is Joe Montana. Is he just your favorite quarterback of all time? Because I don't think he's the greatest of all time. 2-time MVP, 4-time Super Bowl champ. Not the yardage, different era, I get it, right? Didn't throw the ball, not as much offense, but not as many yards, not as many touchdowns, didn't play as long as Brady. Tough to say he's the GOAT. If he's your favorite quarterback because you didn't like Brady and you didn't like the Patriots, I can understand that, but I don't think you could say he was a greater quarterback than Tom Brady. Even like some of the great single seasons that Joe Montana had. He never threw more than 31 touchdowns in a season. Brady had, 50 in that one year? But when we look at the basketball debate, which feels like it's kind of quieted down a little bit, even though LeBron's the all-time scorer, he doesn't have the championships. He's got a mediocre finals record compared to MJ. But let's say my prediction comes true. Lakers get to the finals this year. Let's say they win it. What does that do for LeBron in the GOAT debate against Jordan? Because then you'd be looking at LeBron being a 5-time NBA champ, and he's a 20-time All-Star. Say what you will about, he's just a stat patter or he's just played longer. Longevity's got to say something about greatness. That's why Brady was so damn great, and he continued to win even when he was older, even up until the last few years. If LeBron wins a title this year at age 40, and he's put up the numbers that he's put up. If he gets carried by Luka, if LeBron is having horrible shooting numbers and he averages 16 points a game in the finals, then sure, the argument will change. But let's say LeBron even compares close to the numbers he's putting up right now in the regular season, which is 25, 8, and 9. And he wins the title this year. He's a 5-time NBA champ. Are we going to then discredit that because now he's got Luka to help him out? Whereas MJ had Pippen all those years? I mean, LeBron can't get Luka? Is the title discredited from LeBron James this year if they win it just because the Lakers now have Luka Doncic? That's what I want to know. But let's say they win a title. Well, hell, let's say they win 2. Now you're looking at the same amount of rings. I think Luka Doncic could reignite the GOAT debate in basketball between LeBron and MJ if the Lakers are able to win even just one title from now until LeBron retires. What about that? I did like some of Dre's points, though, in terms of what he was saying. He do a lot of good stuff, so I'm honestly trying to think back now to to everything he did say, because I got caught up in his takedown of LeBron there at the end. But I think those are the main points. He said Joe Montana is his GOAT. I think he's more so just his favorite quarterback, because I don't think you can actually say with rationale that Joe Montana is greater than either Brady or even Mahomes. I think, like, if it was Mahomes versus Montana, sure, I would have said, okay, Mahomes is the GOAT if he wins tonight over Joe Montana, but not over Brady. Not close. Kingfish in Arkansas, next up on Infinity Sports Network. Kingfish, what's going on, my man?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Pat. Hey, are you the permanent replacement for Amy Lawrence?
No, not at all. That is something that has not been determined, so we're kind of just going day by day here. That's all I can really say.
I want to compliment you on a number of things. But first of all, on your work this past year in the Sunday sports radio doing the NFL, I thought you did a exemplary job, just outstanding job. That you kept the whole day going. It was really a new feature that you did really well, and I think you. And you're good at stirring the pot as far as getting a lot of interest in the sports. You get a lot of callers because of the way you approach things, so I compliment you on that. But what I want to do is wrap up. There's about 6 or 7 subjects, and I'm not going to cover those. But are you going to be here all this week?
Yes, yeah, I'll be here the rest of the week.
Okay. Well, anyway, the subject, I want to finish up with the football. That basically Philly gave the whole league a lesson the same way Tampa Bay did on how to beat Kansas City with the defense, and especially Fangio with that rushing the 4 defensemen and playing zone back like that all the sports guys were saying, hey, you know what, the Kansas City, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. If it's a push, they're going to get the call. And so you have to clearly knock out Kansas City the way you'd have to knock out Mayweather. And so the thing is that Philadelphia, everybody says, you got to be up by 10, 14 points going to the fourth quarter to beat Kansas City. Philadelphia has the dogs. And I don't know if it's because their players are afraid of the citizens of Philadelphia, what they're going to do to them if they don't win. But they have the dogs. And this is leading to what you're going to talk about later about Philadelphia, how they behave after they win. But anyway, the thing is, I'm talking about Buffalo and Baltimore and Cincinnati. Those 3 coaches should be on a 1-year lease. They should be like, hey, look, if Nick Sirianni can get Philadelphia to be in 2 Super Bowls in 4 years and be in the playoffs all 4 years, and only 4 years have them do that in Philadelphia, and you've got Sean McDermott up there in Buffalo having, 7, 8 years, and he can't get past Kansas City, Philadelphia would have just smoked Baltimore and Buffalo or Cincinnati, any of those 3 teams. Those 3 teams, their coaches should be on notice. They need to get their act together and get their team across the finish line to the Super Bowl, or they need to be fired. McDermott, Buffalo Bills cannot blame their failure on the refs. Their coaching is terrible. They should, if they took Fangio or Belichick and put them up there with Josh Allen and made a strong defense and had a solid, and don't make any mistakes, Josh Allen would have a chance to win. I don't see Josh Allen winning with that coaching staff up there. And I was just wondering what your thoughts are with these teams on the fringe like Baltimore and Cincy and Buffalo in view of how they see Philadelphia beating KC, do you think that they can learn from that? And do you think that Kansas City is weakening? Has their chip been broken a little bit?
Yeah, great stuff, Kingfish. First of all, I appreciate all the great compliments you gave me. That means a lot. I really do appreciate that. Gridiron Game Day with Pat Boyle every Sunday this past football season. I loved showing up and diving into 8 hours of football and just trying to give everybody the experience that I would want if I'm in the car or if I can't watch the games. So that's what I tried to do for all 18 weeks of the regular season. So I appreciate you taking notice of that. Just to kind of hit on the points you made, again, threw a lot at me. Really great stuff. Trying to break it down as quickly as I can here. I don't disagree with you that teams like the Bills, teams like even the Ravens, John Harbaugh, who's been he's been a winner. He's been a winner ever since he's gotten there. And really, I think the perfect team to talk about is the Steelers with Tomlin, who is a winning coach every single year, and yet they can't win in the playoffs. They have not been able to win since Roethlisberger has left, since they won that last Super Bowl. What is it now? 8 straight winning years and 8 straight first-round exits in the playoffs from Pittsburgh? I think these teams got to be a little bit more adventurous and not afraid to shake things up. And I think Bills general manager Brandon Beane has got to be right there. I agree with you. I don't know if Josh Allen can win with this coaching staff because there's been years in the last 4 years where they've had a top 5 offense and a shaky defense. They couldn't beat Mahomes and the Chiefs. This year, they had a phenomenal run game. They committed to the run with Joe Brady as the OC. The defense, too small and too soft. And I know you put in your topic in the subject line, it was written out, Bills need to bulk up to beat Philly. I agree. I mean, that's why that they ended up losing to the Chiefs, because their defense, they played too much zone. Their linebackers weren't strong enough. Their front wasn't strong enough, and that's why they lost. But I think the biggest thing is so again, I think these teams on the fringe, Cincinnati, and Cincinnati fired their defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, and honestly, I think Zach Taylor should go next year if they don't get to the playoffs and, again, you lose a one-score game in the divisional round, a game that comes down to the wire. Maybe I change my mind, or maybe I say, you know what, Zach Taylor, is a good coach. I think he deserves to stay, but he's on the hot seat. So I think, these teams that are on the fringe chasing Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Buffalo, they shouldn't be afraid to fire their respective coaches, because there's one thing of living in complacency of being a really good team, and if you fire your coach and the next coach turns out to be a dud and then you go backwards, that's scary. But you know what else is scary? Living in that complacency for years on years on years on end and watching a generational quarterback like Lamar Jackson or like Josh Allen come through and never even make the Super Bowl, let alone win it. But that's almost a stainless steel bulletproof formula for winning a Super Bowl, is building a pass rush. Teams that have great pass rushes. The 2007 Giants beat the undefeated Patriots with a phenomenal pass rush, rushing 4 guys. The Patriots, who, by the way, had a great secondary, and it's not just Sirianni, although I think it's a good point. If teams can win with a coach like Sirianni who doesn't call the plays, and he does deserve an apology from me and a lot of other folks, because I thought he was going to get fired midway through this year, but he kept the locker room together. But even then, teams like that had a great secondary, that's the top bottom. You have a great general manager like Howie Roseman, who nailed his picks in the draft, taking Quinyon Mitchell, taking Cooper DeJean, their first 2 picks. He didn't say, you know what? Our secondary was an absolute disaster, and it was the reason that our season went off the rails last year, but maybe we try to give Jalen Hurts even more help. Maybe we try to draft a receiver. No, he said, our secondary sucks. I'm going to draft 2 corners, and I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. We're going to sign Saquon Barkley in free agency, and that's that. And it worked perfectly. And then Sirianni hires 2 great coordinators, Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, by the way, I mean, he's a Philadelphia hero now, I feel like, just as much as anybody else. But I think when it comes down to it, if you have your quarterback, the next thing I'd be looking to do if I'm an NFL GM right now is build a lethal pass rush. Because the Eagles showed you Sunday night, even the greatest QB of this generation, Patrick Mahomes, can be stopped and made to look human and made to look horrible with a lethal pass rush. That's how the Eagles did it. 855-212-4227. Full phone lines. I think we actually have one open phone line, but we'll get right back to your calls here. Final hour of the show. I want to hear from you, the great folks around the US of A and North America. So we'll get right back to your phone calls and anything we've just discussed in this segment and the show. 855-212-4227. And by the end of the show, it might be stupid, it might be dumb, but it's never too early to give you a Super Bowl 60 prediction. So stay with me till the end of the hour, and I'll tell you who I think is winning and who's going to be in next year's Super Bowl. But a lot left to do until then. It's Pat Boyle. Don't go anywhere. Coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back. Pat Boyle with you here on the Infinity Sports Network. Got about a half hour left to go, and then Maggie and Perloff, our morning show, is after me. I'll be here with you the rest of the week, so 2 to 6 a.m. Eastern again tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Pumped to be doing that as well. And we'll get back to your phones in just 2 minutes. We have 2 open phone lines. You guys have jammed the phones up all morning. You've done a great job responding to the stuff that I've been putting out there. So we've had some great interactions. But just want to get a couple of tweets in here from Chester Neal 15. Super Bowl 59 is proof defense wins championships. Super Bowl 59 is proof defense wins championships. Chester, you're spot on. That Eagles front four didn't even blitz a single time, but Vic Fangio's defense rattled Mahomes right from the get-go. And the pick six from Cooper DeJean, the pick six from Teflon Baun, Zach Baun, on a play where Mahomes got pushed into by his own lineman, Joe Tooney, because that pass rush was just so damn good. Chester Neal also saying, even if the Lakers win, LeBron isn't the GOAT. MJ had Pippen. LeBron has had at least half of the top 75 and still is a loser. Okay. I wouldn't say loser. For me, MJ is still the GOAT, and I need to see LeBron win at least another title, if not 2. But, man, I think Doncic changes the math on that one. He changes the equation. I think the Lakers are going to the finals this year. I think this trade is going to be – we're going to look back on it and just laugh at Nico Harrison and the Dumonts and the new Mavericks owners as hard as Eagles fans have been laughing at Giants fans and Giants ownership for getting Giants GM Joe Shane for letting Saquon Barkley go. Keith Floyd, K. Floyd Jr. 66 tweets, great show. Listen to a bit on Tuesday morning, which is today. Coaches matter, but not as much as fans want to claim. Sometimes it's that drop-off of play in January for your quote-unquote generational QB, like Lamar Jackson, that matters more. Doesn't turn the ball over until the chips are down. And he's right with that one. And I told you I'll give you a Super Bowl prediction before the end of the show, so in the next 30 minutes you'll get that. Plus, I've got some stories. A couple of funny, good quips and details. I was in the city of brotherly love on Sunday with my girlfriend who, unfortunately, is an Eagles fan. So I had to, do my role, do my part, be a good boyfriend, go to Philly, watch the game, and then we masqueraded. We went through downtown city and took in the sights and sounds, the debauchery, the carnage that was. So I got a couple of good stories I want to tell you guys before we get out of here. But I did tell you I'd give you a Super Bowl prediction as well. And Dyron Carl Adam at Dyring A says, I'll make a Super Bowl prediction, if you will. This may sound somewhat far-fetched and maybe a bit of a homer. I'm going to predict the Packers will represent the NFC and the Bills will represent the AFC. Regrettably, the Bills emerge victorious over my Packers. I don't hate that one. I'll give you mine before we get out of here in just under 30 minutes. But back to your calls here, 855-212-4227. Wayne is in the Big D in Dallas. Wayne, next up on the Infinity Sports Network. What's up?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to start off by saying longevity and championships don't necessarily make you the GOAT. It helps the argument, but it don't make you the GOAT. So I just want to say that.
Okay, but Wayne, I will say this. LeBron is also number 1 all-time in scoring, He's going to finish as top 5 rebounding, top 5 assists. So if just the championships alone, what about the stats? What about the numbers? What about the fact that
he's got a great argument? I'm not saying that to me it's between him and Michael Jordan, but I'm going with Jordan. But I'm just saying he has played way longer than Jordan too. So you got to factor that in.
He has, but he's also been, like the argument. There was a good argument where I'm from locally in New York on the radio all week last week about is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? And for the folks that didn't think so, would say he's never been the best quarterback of in any year that he's played. He's never been the top 3 quarterback amongst the guys that he played with: Breeze, Brady, Roethlisberger, a couple of other guys, Rodgers. But LeBron has been all NBA. He's been an all-star every single year. He's also 6 times all defense, 4-time MVP. He's always been the best player, if not a top 3 player in the sport, almost every single year up until last year. And even then, if I had to rank, I'd probably put LeBron right now as the 8th or 9th best player in the NBA. So again, I also think MJ's the GOAT, but I don't think it's that far off if LeBron and the Lakers win the title this year.
That's true. This is my number one reason for the call. This is the reason why a lot of people were saying Mahomes can be the GOAT over Brady, at least from my neck of the woods. Mahomes can do everything Brady can do. He can read the field good. He can make all the passes. But the one thing Mahomes can do that Brady can't, mobility. So when teams rush their front 4, which gave Tom Brady problems, you figure that Mahomes could beat the Giants back then because they wouldn't have been able to rush their front 4. But now, with what the Eagles just did to Mahomes, that sort of put that to bed. So I used to say Mahomes was the GOAT if he was to win now. I can't say that now because he lost in the same fashion that Tom Brady with just rushing your front 4, and his mobility didn't help him much. So thank you for taking my call.
You got it, Wayne. Appreciate it, man. And yeah, good stuff. And not only just the front 4, it's one thing too if his legs, which even then he made a couple of absurd plays, running back and forth, zigzagging, getting yards with his legs, but it didn't really matter because the game was over. But the one thing that can be said that made Brady so damn good despite his lack of mobility is because that ball was getting out in 2 seconds every time. And Mahomes, despite he can extend plays with his legs, and a lot of those 6 sacks, I don't think if he could have done anything about them, but he held on to the ball. Held on to the ball too long. Held on to the ball way too long. Tough to criticize a guy like Patrick Mahomes, but, he played about as brutal of a game as you could on Sunday. And he has skunked it up twice now in the 5 Super Bowls he's been in. Both of his losses, he's gotten embarrassed. Again, you could just say, oh, well, it's offensive line, nothing he could do. What? Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with an offensive line that, maybe was trying to kill him more than protect him. So I just don't think it's as easy as, Mahomes couldn't have done anything, the offensive line. Probably true when you look at the game on Sunday, and probably true when you look at that game against Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. But, to put them together and just totally absolve him of getting destroyed in both of his Super Bowl losses, I think is just too easy. Michael's next up in Green Bay. Michael, you're next up on the Infinity Sports Network. What's going on?
Hey, man. First off about LeBron, I just want to say this. Meta World Peace told the story of LeBron at 16 years old, dominating in a room full of NBA. And at that year in 2000, Meta World Peace was an all-NBA rookie member. And he said this 16-year-old LeBron was dominating these guys. And so for LeBron at 16 to be dominating against professional athletes, Tom Brady wasn't a professional athlete at 16. Usain Bolt was not a professional runner at 16. Michael Phelps wasn't swimming against Olympic athletes at 16. LeBron was dominating at 16. I don't care what people say about Michael Jordan. He didn't want it as bad as LeBron. He retired at 30. LeBron could have retired at 30 because he was that good. He wanted it more, even though he had more athleticism that he could have just leaned on. LeBron wants it. Even though I don't really like him as a person, he hasn't given up when he could have easily.
Yeah, and Michael, I think I kind of can't stand when people use LeBron's longevity against him. The fact that he is still playing at this elite of a level at age 40 is impressive. It's mind-blowing.
No one else has done this from 16 to it's unreal. But if they don't want to accept that, that's fine. But what I really wanted to call and say was this Eagles team, this Eagles defense that is top scoring, best pass coverage. Zach Barnes, a first-year starter. Jalen Carter, second year. Jordan Davis, third year. Josh Sweat, third year. Quinyon Mitchell's a rookie. Cooper DeJean's a rookie. You're looking at 7 guys on that defense that haven't even played 5 seasons yet.
Yeah.
Not even past their rookie contract. So this team that you're looking at right now, this is probably, by probability standards, the least good Eagles defense you're going to have in the next couple years when they have experience against these guys and strategy. I think this Eagles defense is about to be freaking crazy. But people don't understand that this team right here that just did this against the Chiefs, they would have did this to every other Chiefs team too. Rashee Rice, I don't think he made any difference even if he's there. And when Pat Mahomes won his first Super Bowl in 2018, I don't think that Chiefs team is even doing anything against this Eagles team that has rookies starting in the number 1 pass coverage defense. I mean, it's just this doesn't happen anywhere. No other Super Bowl defense had rookies and second-year players dominating like this. It's scary to see what's going to come up, man.
It is, Michael. It's a great point. I don't know if I agree that this Eagles team would have beaten any of those Chiefs teams. I mean, again, the Chiefs Super Bowl winning teams from last year and 2018, they had a pretty solid offensive line. This offensive line and then the fact that they had 3 guys hurt against the Buccaneers, as bad as they've been. But the Chiefs' offensive lines in years past have been pretty good. And Rashee Rice definitely would have made a difference. I mean, the guy was getting targeted 23 times per game in the first couple of weeks of the year. I had him on my fantasy team. I was coasting towards a championship, and then he got hurt, and from the 49ers got hurt for the rest of the year. And that was it for me. Brandon Ayuk. I was blanking on his last name. That's a bad job by me. Watched football for 18 weeks this Sunday. Blanked on Brandon Ayuk's name. But Rashee Rice would have made a difference. It was like 10 catches for 100 yards every game. That being said, what you said about the Eagles defense, they are not going anywhere. They are scary good. If Vic Fangio wants to take a head coaching job, that's the only thing that should be the reason why he's not the Eagles defensive coordinator for the rest of his life. Just like Steve Spagnuolo, I don't know if he would ever want to take a head coaching job, because why would you when you've got the best job arguably for the next 10 years? You're the defensive coordinator for Patrick Mahomes' team. Unless he wants to take over as the head coach if Andy Reid retires in the next couple of years, which I don't know about you guys, but Andy was not looking too sprightly and too happy on the sideline. I think he kind of knew they were cooked from the get-go. Once those first couple of snaps happened and his team was getting no push, they were getting pushed back on their ass. I think that kind of told the story to Andy. I think he's seen enough football to see how that game was going to go. But yeah, all these defensive players that you mentioned, Bond, DeJean, Blankenship, Quinyon Mitchell, all these young guys that are on their rookie contracts or they're rookies, yeah, this is you can start to think of a world where Steel Curtain, all those years of the Steelers' elite defenses, you could start to see the Eagles being in that conversation. 855-212-4227. Got a couple callers on hold. I will get to you before the show ends. Anybody else wants to get on here and get some last-minute thoughts in before we sign off in about 15 minutes from now? Plus, my Super Bowl 60 prediction, never too early. And I do have a couple of good, quick stories and details from my time in downtown Philly on Sunday night, where thousands were parading, destroying the city, climbing on cars. We'll get to that before we finish up here. It's Pat Boyle with you. Coming up on the other side, one final segment. Update time. Here he is, Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
And Pat, we're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Luka Doncic making his Lakers debut in his first action since Christmas, and he gave LA fans a glimpse at their future.
Reeves, top of the key. Goes to Luka, right side. Doncic dribbling one-on-one against Walker Kessler. Three-pointer over Kessler. It's good! Luka's first three is a Laker, and the place goes nuts.
14 points in 24 minutes. LeBron James led the way with 24. Lakers disposed of the Jazz 132-113. Call courtesy of the Lakers Radio Network. Elsewhere, Victor Wembanyama, 31 points, 15 rebounds. Spurs finished off the Wizards 131-121. Hawks topped the Magic 112-106. Celtics erased the Heat 103-85. Jason Tatum with 33. Nuggets drubbed the Blazers 146-117. Nikola Jokic with 40. Well, the Cavs had an easy night against the T-Wolves.
Mitchell out front, lost the dribble, got it back, drives the lane, pow with the right hand. Donovan with some oohs and ahs from the crowd.
23 for Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley, 28 and 10 rebounds, helping to offset a 44-point outburst from Anthony Edwards. Cavs dominate the T-Wolves 128-107. Call courtesy of the Cavs Radio Network. Rest of your scores: Kings outlast the Mavericks in overtime 129-128. DeMar DeRozan with 42. Thunder roll the Pelicans 137-101. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 31. Steph Curry at 38. Warriors dismissed the Bucks 125-111. And the Nets took out the Hornets 97-89. Kevin Durant spoke for the first time since he found his name as part of the trade deadline speculation. He brushed it off as part of the business, however, didn't seem to care for the report that the Suns currently have a toxic environment.
It's easy to say our locker room is not connected when you come in there 45 minutes before and guys are in their game modes. We're not talking to each other. 4 or 5 guys might be in the training room. A few guys might be in the weight room. It's not a welcoming environment right before the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's just part of getting ready to play.
And in college hoops, just 2 games in the top 25. That was 6th-ranked Houston. Too much for Baylor, 76-65, and Clemson rocked North Carolina, 85-65. I'm Marco Belletti.
This is Maggie Gray for the Maggie and Perloff Show. Get all your sports talk here on the Infinity Sports Network. Always available on the free Odyssey app.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, final couple of minutes here. Pat Boyle with you. Maggie and Perloff are 10 minutes away here on the Infinity Sports Network. And don't worry again, if you missed any part of the show, Odyssey app, you can rewind, listen to any of it. I'll be back with you again, though, the rest of the week, 2 to 6 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. You can also shoot me any messages, DMs. You want to tweet at me, at PatBoyle44, and we can continue the conversation there. Before I give you a Super Bowl 60 prediction and we get on out of here, I did, I was in Philadelphia Sunday night. My girlfriend is an Eagles fan. It's going to be a continued battle, and I think she's the one. So I think it's a lifelong battle of having to be with an Eagles fan. That just sucks. It sucks. I mean, it really does. But either way, I knew it was going to be a win-win for me on Sunday because if the Eagles lost, I would have been able to drink an entire city's tears, and revel in the loss. And if they won, I would have been able to go out and party and celebrate, which I like to do, Put back a couple cold ones, have a good time, party with some people that are in having the best days of their lives. Sure, why not? So we kind of went through. She lives in northern Philly, Fishtown, which is 10 minutes outside of Center City, aka downtown Philly, where City Hall is. So we took a quick train there right after the game ended. We were watching the game at a bar that had the game on. I was like, babe, the one mandatory, we have to go to a bar that is not playing music. They're playing the broadcast over the bar. I got to be able to listen to it. So we go from that bar. What was the name of the bar that we were at? Starbolt. We go from there we go to City Hall in Philadelphia, and we basically kind of just walk all the way down Broad Street and just witness the sights. There were giant trucks blocking off probably every other block, people on every car that's parked on every bus stop station, dozens of people, beers getting tossed into the stands for people to drink. And people just all walks of life, all different creeds and colors of people. It really was a good time to watch the city at its best, but also they're tearing the city apart. It's pure carnage. It is pure carnage that only Philadelphians know how to do. So at one point we see, the classic people climbing the traffic lights. And I said to my girlfriend, I said, babe, what do you think? Should I climb it? She goes, you're going to climb the traffic light? I was like, why not? Good time. Come on. I might be 30. I got some athleticism still in me. So this one guy gets down, and they had a fencing guardrail kind of thing that they're using as a ladder. So I said to the one kid, I said, put it up. I'm going up. He goes, you're going up? I said, I'm going up. Sure enough, I climbed it, got to the top, and they wanted me to do an Eagles chant. I said, I'm not doing that. But I basically kind of just, whooped up the crowd. I got my 1 foot all the way on top of the red light, so I got up there pretty high. I'm not going to post a picture on social media. I think I've incriminated myself enough just talking about it. But you'll have to take my word for it, Pete. I'll show you the picture, but the rest of America, North America, will have to take my word for it that yes, I did climb a traffic light and nearly fell on my ass after an Eagles Super Bowl win in the city of Philadelphia. So at least is a memory I'll have for a while. Real quick, in 30 seconds, Super Bowl 60 prediction, and we can get your thoughts on it tomorrow. Like I said, I'm with you the rest of the week here. I think Josh Allen and the Bills finally get over the hump next year. Finally. I think it's Bills-Ravens AFC title game, too, by the way. Bills get in, and then I think next year is the year of love. Jordan Love and the Packers get to the Super Bowl. I think they beat the Bills. Packers over the Bills, Super Bowl 60 prediction. I'll talk to you tomorrow.